Hi there, my name is Kay Moon and I'm a Western astrologer and twin flame channel. And this is a video about the Cancer new moon taking place on June 25th at 6:31 a.m. If you happen to be on the eastern seaboard of the United States, definitely check a time zone converter for your local time. This will be the video update for the twin flame, divine counterpart, soulmate collective. Quick announcement, my July calendar is selling out quite quickly. So if you've been wanting to book a reading for me, now is the time to do it, especially since relationship readings will get pulled from my website on July 10th when Juno goes direct. So even though if you book now, maybe a little bit later in July or early August, you will not have the opportunity to book past July 10th. So I strongly recommend that you get yours while they're available. The couples reading will still be available where two people can come for 90 minutes. But the one to one person reading, where I look at your chart, another person's chart, and chart of the connection, that is only available until July 10th. So definitely grab either the 30-minute or the 1 hour if you've been thinking about it. And if you can't wait that long and you need some support, I strongly recommend getting on the private list so that you don't miss opportunities for the live mini readings to get insights more immediately as I offer those as I have time. The link to join the private list, to be notified of live mini readings, or to book a reading is below this video. Here's our new moon right in the sign of Cancer, and it is a very interesting energy. It's got some interesting planets in communication with it. We see a Jupiter conjunction, which creates a lot of emotional expansion. We see a Saturn Neptune square, which creates some emotional correction. We see a sextile from Mars, which is facilitating motivation to change and grow. We also see a trine from Haumea and Vesta, which opens the pathway and the gateway, or creating completions, closures that need to, so that we have the ability to move forward. And we see an opposition here from Folus, which is bringing some illumination around the structure of our relationships, that it's time for us to change and recreate so we have better boundaries in our partnerships. There's more detail about how this works and how it looks in the Lightworker Energy Update, so I strongly recommend you have a listen there if you'd like to go deeper. But especially if you're listening for someone who you identify as divine masculine, or if you identify as divine masculine energy in your connection, as Jupiter is conjunct this new moon, everything that I said inside of that lunar update is going to be a detailed look at the emotional and spiritual and the psycho-spiritual landscape of the divine masculine energy fields at this time. So if you'd like to better understand that person in your world or yourself, definitely have a listen to that lunar update. I'll be adding in a few more details here for Divine Counterpart Collective in a moment. But as I always do, we'll start with the divine feminine energy here. There's Juno, wife of Jupiter. She is retrograde in the sign of Scorpio on an extended journey. It's all about understanding some of her shadow emotions, her reproductive health, uh, partnership and power dynamics, as well as relationship to what we call other people's money. And that can include debt, it can include investments, it can include inheritances as well. So, what is she talking to? She's having a conversation by conjunction with Lilith. This is the part of the journey where you may find that you are experiencing a level of disengagement, disillusionment in your connection. If you've been having the experience of feeling like you're the only one in the connection, this sense of the blahs that can really show up here and have you starting to question whether or not you'd like to sustain investment in the connection or start to move in another direction, which is part of what this period of time of Juno retrograde was supposed to do for the collective on the whole. Those for whom this was only ever meant to be for yourself and you've only really desired it to be a deep learning experience, you'll find as we've come through this Juno retrograde, yeah, I learned a lot and I'm ready to do something different. I want to have a completely different experience. You'll find that that shows itself as Lilith speaks to Juno, as Juno retrogrades backward toward Lilith. She will have talked to Lilith multiple times over the course of this retrograde. And Lilith, when as Lilith moves forward, once Juno goes forward as well, they'll conjunct again. This is really an energy that's resituating divine feminine energy in the seat of personal power through confronting personal fears, personal shames, personal guilts, personal blames, personal rages. As you begin to work with the messages from their shadow self, this is going to facilitate reconnection with personal power. And that's going to be an important piece of the process for all of us, regardless of gender. This is going to help us really deal with the places where we opt out of connection because we get either disillusioned or frustrated, or we opt out of connection because we feel like we've done something so irrevocably harmful in the connection that will never be forgiven. This is where we get the opportunity to really look and see, are these stories that I'm telling myself true? And do I have more power than I've let myself believe in this connection? So it's a beautiful energy of reckoning in the divine feminine energy fields as she nears Lilith again before closing out her retrograde. We also see an opposition to Venus at this time, and the Venus Juno opposition creates some opposition between our chemical attractions, that's Venus, our amorous feelings, our romance feelings, some opposition between those and our sense of commitment, our sense of marital bonding, that sort of sense of I'm in it to win it no matter what. That's Juno. She's the higher, more evolved octave of Venus. And so, beauty in this energy here is that in this opposition, we get the opportunity to examine this two sides of ourselves and what they bring to the table. As Venus and Juno are opposite, now for some, this is really going to be an encounter with, it's going to play out a few different ways. So I'm going to name the ways, get in where you fit in. For some, this is going to be encounter with another feminine energy in your connection. So, for those of you who are love triangulated, you may find that you have called forth another feminine energy, or if you've got an identity around, I always end up in love triangles. Love never really works out for me. There's always another person involved. You may find that this is one of those moments where a third party shows itself and you get the opportunity to examine once again, why is this pattern existing in my space and what can I do to resolve it, since I'm the common denominator, whether it's love interest A, love interest B, love interest C, or divine counterpart D. For whatever reason, I'm constantly triangulated. What's going on in me that this pattern keeps showing up? And how can I begin to resolve it? So there's opportunity in this to get out of victim mode if that's a pattern you've been running. Here's another interpretation. This is where you get the opportunity to really see perhaps your commitment in divine counterpartship has come to completion and you're ready to explore where your desires and the desires of your heart lead you next. This is you coming back home to the awakening of the heart of desire inside of your connection. And through connecting with where desire actually leads you, It may be a non-linear path, but it leads you right back into the connection from a place of wholeness as opposed to from a place of a suffering obligation of love. Okay. And it's for those of you who feel like I have to heal the connection in order to be in it. Now, there's another group of you here as well that are going to do some much deeper, richer exploration of where you find and how you experience value of yourself in the third dimension. Both Taurus and Scorpio, where Venus and Juno sit, are signs that deal with value, self value, and world value. You're going to be engaged in a conversation through this period of the Cancer new moon having to do with where and how I value myself and where and how I allow myself to be valued by other people, including in the connection. And so, giving yourself that opportunity to really look, especially if you're the kind of person who has some self esteem problems because of either things done to you or done by you in the past. We are doing a retrograde with Juno, so there's plenty of opportunity to look back on the past. If that's the case, this is really going to give you that chance to look and see, why do I feel I'm unworthy of this love? Why do I feel I can't have this love? Why do I feel I'm not good enough for this love? This is really going to allow you that opportunity to look and examine and come into some sort of clarity about how you can release patterns of holding yourself apart from being keeping that being valued, being cherished, being honored, being adored at arm's length from you. If that's your patterning, this configuration is going to help you begin to resolve that for yourself. So I really love to see that here. Lastly, for those of you in the world of, sort of counterpartship who have long ago, put, the label of twin flame or divine counterpart aside, and now you're just in the place where you're ready to look for love and look and allow love in, you're going to find that this period opens up opportunities for love to come in and shower you with adoration and value and desire. So, those are the multiple interpretations there for Venus in opposition to Juno. Find the one that really resonates with your circumstance. We also see a trine here to Nessus, and there's Nessus there inside of Pisces. Nessus is retrograde. Nessus is our energy that deals with obsession. Um, I got to focus on this. I can't let it go. I'm doubled down in terms of my focus on this. As Nessus is trying to Juno, who is in retrograde from Pisces, there's such a deep commitment flowing through the divine feminine energy fields for spiritual growth, spiritual evolvement, spiritual attunement. It's a really beautiful energy. So I love to see that. You'll find that there is a gorgeous sort of pull toward, you could call it ritual, psychic insight, intuitive development, sort of that metaphysical practice that really allows you to come into contact with spiritual truth at this time and release any sort of dogmatic oversight of your connection. So where the internet may have been telling you, oh, all twin flames have to go through separation, and then you have to go through running and chasing, and then the only way you really know if it's real is if you detach from it and then they come back to you. That's all dogma. The detachment from dogma is going to allow you to come in contact with your own spiritual truth about your connection, which may not reflect the dogma out there, the rhetoric out there. Your connection may not have some of those features or components. And by detaching from the labels in this way, you get the opportunity to be divinely led and guided in your connection in a way that's liberating, it's freeing, and allows you to follow the organic path of your connection where it's leading you. So, really beautiful energy there in the divine feminine energy fields. We also see a square to Chericlo and Pallas in Aquarius. Here we go. There they are. Yes. Here is Chericlo, here is Pallas, and there's this squaring energy to Juno. This has been an interesting thing to watch evolve as Juno has been retrograde because she has been square to Chericlo and Pallas. And there is this energy of almost, guides and angels and intercessors, even if you just work with your grandma on your other side. There's this energy of those entities stepping back and allowing you to have your process and guide your process and let you come to your own truth in your process so that they know how to support you on the other side of this retrograde. And so, if you've been feeling a little bit detached from some of that guidance, you've been feeling a little bit like, oh, where is it? Like, I've always felt my grandma so close. I've always felt my guide and my team so close, and they're there, but it feels like the connection is like hard to hear sometimes or hard to deepen the connection with. What's happening here is this really rich opportunity for you to step into authority, directorship, authorship. And again, here's that word. She's in the sign of Scorpio. She's in the sign that deals with personal power, to step into your power in the connection and make some decisions for yourself about what you want, where you want things to go, how you want to feel, what you want your connection to be like. Those of you who were in the union workshop with myself and my business partner in Romania had the opportunity to really lean into that level of authority over your lives. But many of you who have just been here with me on the YouTube channel know that I've been encouraging you to start leaning and growing in this direction for yourself. And knowing that the stars really are waiting for you to decide which way you want to go so that they can support your direction. This deep retrograde of Juno is giving the divine feminine energy fields that opportunity for pause and reflection and deep assessment about what matters and where they would like things to move next in order to, again, bring Chericlo and Pallas back into the fold once she goes direct and then lands inside of Sagittarius in October. We'll find by November, she's back into great communication with Chericlo and Pallas, and you'll feel like that protection, that divine guidance is right back online. If you've been beseeching, your guidance team, like, show me the way, this is very clearly speaking to me and saying they're waiting on you to decide the way. Get creative, try some experiments, decide what you want. What if you really could have it exactly the way you want it, despite or in spite of how it may have been in the past? What if the way it's been isn't the way it has to continue to be? This is your opportunity to really step into that authority over your life, step into that power in your life, and start to create for yourself. And that's a specific message for those of you who have been feeling a little bit disconnected from protection and guidance. There's a reason for that. Now, this square can also be interpreted as feeling like your guidance team is prompting you to go one way and your heart is prompting you to go in another way. Follow your heart. Your guidance team will fall in line. They are here to support you, not drag you. Okay. You have that direct connection to God within the desires of your heart. They are what's showing you where you're meant to be. Your guidance team is just here to support you in getting there, but you are the one who punches in the coordinates. Once you've got that decision made, they can get on board and support you with that in that way. And again, if this is really resonating with you or piques your interest, definitely have a listen to the Lightworker Energy Update. If you haven't, I've spoken at length, or not at length, but given like a little bit of a drive by on healing the archetype of the out of control healer, or resolving that identity within yourself where you feel like I'm at the mercy of whatever my team tells me. I can never do anything outside of that. And I hate it, but this is just the way it's supposed to be. This Juno retrograde, especially now she's getting close to Lilith again, is really meant to help you resolve that interior energy of feeling at the mercy of the connection, feeling victimized by the love, and then feeling victimized by your light workership and way showership. It's not supposed to be that way. There are no martyrs here on this bus. You didn't come on a martyr mission, right? And so this retrograde of Juno, as she's speaking back and forth with Lilith, now with Venus, this is giving in the guidance team sort of stepping back just a little bit. This is giving you this opportunity to really examine and look. If this is not a win-win experience, you do have the opportunity to Scorpio end it, close it, release it, go to something that is win-win for you. This doesn't have to be a win-lose experience of suffering, okay? The invitation is on the table to book a reading if you'd like to look at this in more depth, but understand, because I know this is a big decision. It's not one that's made overnight, but understand that some of this process with Juno, especially for those of you who have been in separation for some time or really struggling in the connection with your identity and your counterpart's identity. Booking a reading can help you start to parse out, how can I get back into the experience of love with this and out of the experience of heaviness and suffering with this? What can I release? What can I let go? What can I forgive? And where can I step more into light, love, ease, power, authority in the situation? Okay. Um, And then we see she is in sextile to Folus, who is here. And this is getting the opportunity to release any and all forms of personal sabotage through personal toxicity. Again, there's that echo in the energetic field. I've really been holding a structure around my connection that's compromising to me. I have been holding a mindset, a framework around my connection that is undermining me. This is where you're going to get that wake up call, that revelation. Maybe I can hold this, be in this, connect in this in a very different way. For those of you who find yourselves in a committed bond at this time, this is a powerful period of reconstruction in the bond as both of you have interior emotional revelations about what you need, why you need it, and how to restructure the boundaries of the relationship to foster your individual growth while you are together. Lots of opportunity here with Mercury here in Cancer, preparing to go into Leo and then square Juno. Lots of opportunity here in the coming months to have great conversation about this, to have conversation that really allows you to be centered in yourself and to hear from that centered in yourself place the other person in the connection. What do they need? Why do they need it? Let me try to understand them. This is really going to be a function of maturity in couples and counterparts who are together, being able to manage your own emotions because they are going to be very activated through this new moon and the next full moon. Manage your own emotions, but then from there, honor them in a way, build the muscle for honoring them so that there's space to honor the other person's emotional reality. Okay. So, yeah, I like to see it for those of you. And again, throughout what I've said so far, I've shared messages for those of you who are in separation or identifying some format of separation or non-communication. This is a pivotal point of off ramp for those of you who are like, yeah, I think I want to do something different. You 100% get the choice to do that. There's no martyrdom stories here. You don't have to be a martyr or a victim to this. You can 100% put yourself in a place where you've either recreated yourself, your identity, and the identity of the connection so that it feels good, or you can put it down and step into something that feels more aligned. Okay. But heaviness is what's meant to be released here. Growth through releasing that heaviness is part of the process in the divine feminine energy fields. And again, you know where to find me if you want to talk this through. The couples readings will remain on the website. Those are 90 minutes for two people. They're going to remain on my website after the one person readings come down, relationship readings come down. But the one person relationship readings come down the 30-minute and 60-minute for one person, where I look at your chart, their chart, and the chart of the connection. Those come down on July 10th. So even though we might not be able to talk until the end of July or the beginning of August, if you know you want to talk about this thing, book it now. Okay. All right, let's get into what Jupiter, the divine masculine energy, is doing here. Now we see Jupiter conjunct this new moon, which really makes it a new moon that's all about our divine masculine energy. So, a lot of emotional growth and expansion, a lot of emotional temperance and sobering going on in our energetic fields. It's an energy of maturing where we're getting tempered and matured and growing through restraint, growing through closing out things that undermine our integrity and wholeness, coming into some spiritual awareness, some psycho spiritual awareness with Neptune and Aries about who we really are and who we aren't. This is a gorgeous energy of getting that sort of tap on the shoulder around our personal alignment when it comes to how we're acting, how we're moving forward. These are divine masculine energies in our lives. Okay. Now, there's this sextile to Mars for the divine masculine energy. So, this is going to feel very motivating in the DM energy fields. This motivating energy is going to have us feeling a bit like, I got to act, I got to try, I got to motivate, I need to shift, I need to uh, take action on my ambitions. And that's a great thing. And so if you're feeling that at this time, like, yeah, it's time, I have to do something with X, Y, and Z, do it, go for it. This is the time to do it. Even if it feels like, if I lean into this, it might take me away or out of the connection. It's actually not. The more whole you become in yourself, the more you there is to be inside of the connection. And so if you're doing something that you feel like deeply guided to do, and you're clear, it's congruent. It's not, I'm running from the connection. It's, I need to do this to enhance me in my life. And that's a big difference, right? Um, Doing that sort of thing at this time is going to go a long way in expanding the base and foundation of the connection in the years post 2025 through up to 2028 when the next union window opens for you. So, all of that to say, gorgeous energy here of maturing, but also self honoring, self reflection, and motivation to take action on revelations received about the self. This is a really deep period of time of coming into personal awareness and awakening about who I am, how I've been living, what do I want, what do I need, unfolding in our divine masculine energy field so that we can, like I said, take action on these things. So if you've been teetering on the brink of union for a while and you're like, okay, before I can get into something, I really got to focus on this and do this other thing. This may be why. If you've also been teetering on that brink of union, but also watching your partner prioritize their ambition or their work or their goals or certain things having to do with their family, either family of origin or family of creation. There is this calling in the fields to facilitate getting those things situated as a way to have solid foundation within the self and with the self before allowing partnership to fully expand. And the partnership definitely is going to expand. Now, for some of you, because Jupiter is already here inside of a water sign, she's inside of a water sign, they are coming into harmonious communication. And this union window really starts to open up for a brief period of time in July and into August. Um, and September, she gets out of a water sign on October 5th. And at that time, there is a receding of this harmonious energy between the two counterparts. And that's actually really going to continue to serve, the ebb and the flow really serves our clarity in the connection, right? So, beautiful energy here in the divine masculine energy fields of becoming, of breaking through, of grounding down and rooting into our right place here on the planet, our right timing here on the planet, our right action here on the planet, in our divine masculine energy fields. Now, we also see Jupiter opposite Folus, and there is some level of awareness of wake up call, like, you know what? Let me get off my bullshit. Folus here speaks to toxicity, and where in the divine masculine energy, we have brought toxicity into the connection through our actions, through our behaviors, through our ambitions. We're going to see that mirrored back to us like, yeah, I was really doing the most and I need to knock it off and rein it in, or maybe just focus on me and not be so focused on what they're doing. What if I up level me and it up levels the whole connection instead of trying to up level them and get them to up level before I change? This sort of thing is going to show itself at this time. If you get that sort of interior check in the spirit, yeah, I've not been bringing my best self to connection. Honor that, because you're supposed to be seeing that so that you can continue to up level best self. And what's interesting about this, because Folus is in this communication with the Saturn Neptune up here in Aries and with the divine masculine over here in Cancer, some of you are going to be getting this check in your spirit, not just in the connection, but you're also going to get it at work. Like, yeah, I've been phoning it in, I've been given 80%, but I've not included the 20% that makes the difference. I've not really operated, in alignment with my highest light and who I know I can be. That check in the spirit at this time is a critical piece of getting you into alignment and on a union track for yourself as we move toward the next union window in 2028. So, this is a really pivotal time of self revelation, universe sort of holding up that mirror inside of us and saying, hey, I'm going to need you to check on this, change this, shift this, because the way you're living in these areas, it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel aligned. How about we shift this, shift that, so we can be in a place that does feel really good, congruent, and aligned, that has that mutuality. This is really going to be a huge check in the spirit for those of you who identify in heavy divine masculine energy, that identifies divine masculinity as having the masculine hero complex, which is a version of the out of control healer that I mentioned inside of the Lightworker energy update and for the divine feminine just now. If you have that sort of, I can attend to, provide for, and protect everyone but me, everyone else comes first before me, and that's what it means to be divine masculine, is that I put everyone on my back. I take it all on. I become responsible and accountable for everyone but myself. This is this sort of new moon where you may snap, and you may get that check in your spirit that goes, whoa, I really can't do anything for anyone else unless I'm good and right with me first. You may feel that need to kind of pull within and withdraw and focus on yourself for a little while, to really restructure the way you're engaging in relationships and have some boundaries for yourself, in the way that you're showing up in your divine masculine energy. But for those of you who have more balanced sort of energy, both feminine and masculine, you may find at this time that this is just like you getting that check in your spirit around the way you pursue your ambitions and the way you connect with the people and partnerships around you, whether that's business partnership or individual partnership. Now, for those of you who are in some level of union again, as I mentioned, you may really find that this is one of those periods where there's a restructuring of the way you share emotion with your counterpart and the way you honor yourself in the connection. You may need to carve out more space for yourself. So if you find a counterpart coming to you with that conversation or demonstrating to you, maybe they're showing you they need more time and space for themselves because they don't necessarily know how to articulate it yet. Know that this is a deeper process of them preparing to bring more of themselves to the connection. Step one, listen to self, right? Every conversation I have with myself is not an us conversation. So be patient, have some grace, right? Allow them to work their process. And if you're working that process as it becomes available to you to share and communicate that, for those of you who identify in some format of union, please do. I think you'll find if your counterparts listening to updates like these, they're going through a similar or mirroring process, and they'll have some things to share with you or be eager to help you support and honor yourself in this next iteration of your growth. For those of you who identify in some format of separation, you're going to find that this energy, again, similar to what's going on in the divine feminine energy fields, is going to give you that little check in your spirit. How can I be in this in a way that really honors where I'm at, my emotional growth, my needs at this time, and who I want to become, and my ambitions at this time, so that it's win win and not win lose, where, I'm just a slave to the connection and I have to heal it in order to have it. No, 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 no. That is so pre 2020. Like we've evolved past that as a collective where we now recognize we can heal and we can have it at the same time. Healing is not our barrier to having it, right? We need to stand in our power and stand in our authority around the way we want the connection to look, and really lean into, okay, I have the capacity to change this, the power to change this, but I have to start with changing the way I am with me in it. My emotions, my needs, my feelings, and that's Jupiter and Cancer. I have to honor these at this time so that through honoring them, I'm bringing a whole self into the connection as union continues to unfold for me. Okay, that's what I have in terms of divine masculine energy. If this resonated for you, guys definitely hit that thumbs up. Share it with a friend who you might think needs this or needs to hear some of these messages. If you'd like to book a reading, link is below this video. I know it's a long ways out, but like I said, mini readings are becoming available. As I have time, I'm varying up the day and time so that I can have people participate from all different time zones. Best way to know when those mini readings are is to jump on the private list because I don't often publicize them over here on the main channel when I do them. Okay, so much love. Take great care, and I will see you on YouTube. Bye for now.